Hi fellas, welcome to our section study. My name is Kasani. This is Bible Facts Existence Africa. Welcome you again to the new ones. Kindly subscribe for more video like this. And we are still in the book of Revelation. So we try to explain the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel, the signs and the symbols. So today's topic I entitled it Daniel and the End Times. Daniel and the End Times. Now, we shall have a memory text will come from the book of Daniel, chapter 2. You will try to connect these two books because the book of Revelation, it had the ending, what Daniel could not finish in his time. So most of the things were closed so that they will happen in the end times, which is the book of Revelation. So the memory text says, "And the king answered Daniel and said, Truly your God is a God of gods, the Lord of kings, a revealer of secrets, since you could reveal this secret." Now, fellas, the Lord had a great plan for ancient Israel. "And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." Exodus chapter 19 verse 6. This holy nation, this kingdom of priests, was to be a witness to the world that Yahweh was the only God. Unfortunately, the nation did not live it up to the calling that God had given it. Eventually, its people even went into captivity in Babylon. Interestingly enough, God still was able to use individual Judeans to be his witnesses, despite the disaster of their captivity. In other words, in some of degree, God accomplished through Daniel and his three fellow captives that did not achieve through the Israel and Judea. In one sense, these men was an example of what Israel as a nation was to have been done. Now, yes, their stories unfold in the time and place far removed from the last days, but we still can find traits and characters in these men that can serve as models for us and people who not only live in the end times, but who are called to be witnesses about God to a world that, like the pagans in the Babylonian court, does not know him. What can we learn from these stories? In the book of Revelation are portrayed deep things of God, the very name given to its inspired pages. The Revelation as we near the close of this world history, the prophecies recorded by Daniel demand our special attention as they relate to the very time in which we are living. With them should be linked in teachings of the last book of the New Testament scripture. Satan had led many to believe that the prophetic portion of the writing of Daniel and John, the revelator, could not be understood. But the promise is plain that the special blessing will accompany the study of these prophecies. The wise shall understand, Daniel chapter 12 verse 10, was spoken in the vision of Daniel that were to be unsealed in the later days. And the revelation that Christ had given his servant John for the guidance of God's people at all through the centuries. The promise is, blessed is that readeth, and that hear the words of this prophecy, and they keep those things which are written therein. Revelation chapter 1 verse 3. Through the book, we tend to look at the book of Daniel in a context of a rise and fall of nations, the judgment, and the final deliverance of God's people in the time of trouble. We saw that this in our last video, that the book of Daniel also can give us an example of what it means for us individually to be prepared for the trial and persecution whenever they come in. In this sense, these stories present us to the critically important message in the last days. And after all, however helpful it may be, we know about the mark of the beast, the time of trouble, and the upcoming persecution. If we haven't had the kind of experience with God that we need, all this knowledge will only condemn us more than anything else. So we need to be born again to experience that Daniel and others, including King Nebuchadnezzar, they had. So guys, in case you watch this video, kindly can share with your friends or invite more people that we should learn together. So my name is Kasani, this is Bible Facts. Thank you always for coming. We meet in next video. Kindly subscribe, you won't miss any of our publication. We meet in next video. May God be with you. Have a good day.